Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Out Pro. Welcome to a new episode of the Naruto Virgin podcast. This episode is going to be talking about the climax and the finale of the Gaara versus Rock Lee fight, and then the aftermath, the conclusion of that entire part of the exam, and kind of the 1 month break, training break, leading up to the absolute final stage of the exam. And wow, bro, this was insane in so many ways. I even had to watch the anime episodes just because it was so great. And like Nox told me, bro, you got to watch the big fight in the anime. So yeah, I watched the Choji fight in the anime. It was really good.
Yeah, the Choji fight, dude. I am so happy that the preliminary exam, like the zenith was obviously Choji versus Dosu, and one of the greatest.
It was the last fight, right?
Obviously, it was the climax. Yeah. It was everything I wanted in an amazing battle. Like, none of us thought Choji had it in him to get one shot like that, but it was legendary.
Yeah, like when they did the whole, oh, he's going to cover his ears, we were like, oh shit, strategy's going to happen. And then he just got...
Choji's like 14,000 IQ move.
Subverted our expectations completely. Loved it. Of course, joining me, we got Nux and Briggs.
Nux and Briggs!
And we got both Go and Zen here today.
Go and Zen!
What up? Excited to discuss the Pervy Sage, another one of my favorite characters.
Yo, the best part of the Choji fight is the fact that he went to the hospital not from the fight, but from the fact that he ate too much barbecue afterwards.
Yeah, he's like you, Briggs. He always has stomach problems.
Oh yeah.
Briggs is Choji confirmed.
Choji's my spirit animal, man. The fact that he savors the final bite of everything.
I enjoyed how he still got barbecue even though he lost.
Oh yeah. Gotta treat yourself, man.
That's why his sensei is the real. He's everything you want, dude.
I do think that guy's really cool.
He did at least make it to this part of the exam, but like based on that performance alone, I would not have given him any barbecue.
Yeah, but he did it.
What are you saying? He did such a good job. It's so mean.
Yeah, he was brave, and he didn't know that like vibrations traveled through water. So like, what can you do?
Dude, he's not a scientist.
Animac. You're gonna have a kid, and he's gonna lose a game of soccer, and you're gonna be like, no McDonald's.
I mean, if it's in the blood, then probably.
Dude, Animac isn't gonna get his kids McDonald's. Are you crazy? Animac's gonna be
definitely.
like, McDonald's? I think you want extra soy milk.
No, I will give my children only kind of like authentic Serbian cuisine, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is he'll get the food if he performs well.
Fair enough.
In my family we reward merit. It's a meritocracy.
Food for merit, yes. Food for performance.
If you don't get an A on your exam, you can kiss dinner goodbye.
Yeah, you can eat like the vegan version of the meal, bro.
Yo, dude, everyone will have like regular food, and your kid will be like, no, you get the vegan version. Kid starts crying. Next time, do better.
No, he'll never fail a test again.
The one thing about Serbian cuisine is it's very not vegan, so
yeah,
he'll probably eat meat, hopefully.
Yeah, there's no like vegan options in Serbia. I mean, like if you eat vegan stuff, you're just eating vegetables like without anything else. There's not like vegan meals that are Serbian. It just doesn't exist. But yeah, man, we got Lee's backstory because in the last episode we talked about the beginning of the Lee versus Gaara fight, and then we got Lee's backstory. Obviously, we know that he couldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, which I don't know why. Is there a reason why, or he just can't?
He's just not gifted in that way, bro.
Yeah,
okay, so it's not like, I
don't think there's like some secret master plan where like they took away his bending.
Yeah, he was born without the ability.
That was an amazing reference, Gozen.
Thank you.
Yeah, so because of that, obviously that puts him in a huge disadvantage, and he was laughed at by the other kids. It's like you can't do ninjutsu and you want to be a ninja. Like that doesn't make any sense, kid. So he decided to prove everyone wrong, and his big goal became to become a good ninja, even though he can't use genjutsu and ninjutsu. So obviously he focuses on taijutsu, and he Lee Sensei says that he is a genius. Everyone else. Yeah, Guy Sensei. He says that Lee is a genius, but in one aspect alone, and that is hard work and effort. So while everyone else...
Strong mindset.
Yeah,
It
no,
is
I thought
the
that was really cool.
strongest mindset.
Because Lee is fully aware that he's not as talented as other people, and even his taijutsu when he started was very mediocre. But he decided to train 2 and 3 times as hard as the others, and so that's where he became a genius. That became kind of his like savant aspect.
That
to
became his
personality
ninja
is
way.
that, yeah, he is absolutely willing to work harder than anyone else, even though he might not have that natural talent. He is willing to work harder, and I respect that because anyone in the real world can do the same thing. It's like I might not be talented in art or whatever, but if I really want to do something, and if I'm willing to work harder than anyone else, then I can achieve something.
Yeah, hard work is something within our control, right? We could actually do something about it. Talent, if you use just talent as a metric, you'll always find a reason to give up.
Which
Yeah,
is
and
why I think all of us were really rooting for Lee more than like almost any other character you see.
I agree. Yeah, because Naruto has that fox in him, right? The nine-tailed fox. And like Lee doesn't, he's just like a guy who worked really hard.
Yeah, and I really respect that because, obviously it's best to have a combination of hard work and talent. That's ideal. But I think it's better to be extremely hardworking and have, those that discipline. It's better to have that than just talent, but be lazy and not actually do anything with your talent.
I agree.
It's true, but then what
Like,
happens
you'll
when you go?
accomplish
What happens
nothing
when you go up
just
against someone who has the talent but also works just as hard?
Yeah, you're done then.
Get
You're done.
fucked. No, but everyone was rooting for Lee. I love Lee. He's one of my favorite characters. And I think
Yeah,
everyone
I
could
believe
relate
that
to him in a way because we're not talented at everything, and I'm sure everyone's been in a position where it's like you had to put in that effort, that extra effort,
Well, actually, I can do both genjutsu and ninjutsu in real life, so I couldn't relate to him. But I'm sure the rest of you guys
Nerd.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the first time that we were introduced to the 8 gates concept, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
One
so
of
we
the
already know
hypest
about
concepts.
those like paths of chakra or whatever that
Right.
go throughout the body. So we learned about that earlier. But now we learned that Lee can open 5 of the 8 gates, which should be impossible for someone as young as him, especially someone who can't use ninjutsu and genjutsu, right? And
But
Kakashi is
I don't think ninjutsu or genjutsu actually has a bearing on the opening of the gates. The gates
Okay.
is like it's a physical like chakra. It's like blood doping, but for chakra.
okay.
And
Yeah, because I saw that like Kakashi was literally shocked that Guy would even teach Rock Lee this
Right, 'cause
technique.
it destroys the user's body. Like it's like it's performance enhancing drugs, chakra style.
Yeah. So it's a forbidden technique that he's using, and one that's self-sacrificing. So it like sacrifices your body a lot. And we definitely got to see some amazing, awesome ass kickery by Rock Lee versus Gaara when he started using these moves. Like his body changes, it gets all red. He basically goes Super Saiyan without the blonde hair. Like, because I watched it in the anime too, and it was very cool. And he absolutely like crushes Gaara. He punches him out. He's too fast for Gaara to even see. For the sand can't keep up. He's just like bam, 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 opening gates and left and right. And people are like, what is this guy doing? So he crushes Gaara, but Gaara manages to save himself because that gourd thing on his back, right?
Yeah, but before even mentioning that, like still in the backstory, before actually covering the actual fight, it was more than just he worked harder because he didn't have chakra, or because he didn't have ninjutsu. It was that for his whole life, everyone always looked down on him. He could never ever succeed just based on who he actually is, which is so sad. And then he's in a squad, and the group that he gets paired up with is Tenten, who's basically a massive simp for Neji, and Neji, who's like an insane genius. And
also a massive simp for Neji.
Yes, Neji is also a simp for Neji. Fact. So, like, you gotta recognize what this guy is going through, and he still decides, Neji, I am gonna beat you. I am gonna actually destroy you. I'm gonna get better than you. I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna surpass you, which should be impossible. And Neji keeps, pushing him down and telling him that he's never gonna actually succeed. And that journey that he goes through and his different training arcs or whatever, like he does 1,000,000 push-ups and then he does 1,000,000 jump ropes and then he's like stays up all night like slapping a tree,
Yeah,
Exactly. And he
first,
was even go ahead.
At first, Guy Sensei didn't really notice him that much, right? people were like, "Oh, look, it's that guy that has eyebrows like you," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever." But then when he noticed his training routine and like how persistent and hardworking this guy was, Guy Sensei couldn't help but feel like, compassion for this dude. And it just goes to show how much he ended up trusting him to teach him all these techniques that should be forbidden. And that, even Kakashi was like, "What are you doing teaching someone this? Like, what are you thinking?"
Yeah, he related to him, right? When he was like, Kakashi was the genius, he wasn't. And so it became very personal. I think the relationship between those two is one of the best things about this arc.
Yeah, and the way Guy, like, he gives him that really weird green unitard thing, and he's like, "This will show you the power of youth!" And Lee's like crying. He's like, "Oh my god, Guy Sensei, you're the coolest!" And Neji's just like, "Oh my god, these morons."
Guy also has a great line where he says, "You have to believe in yourself," because Lee was getting down on himself. He started to feel like even if he trained 2 times or 3 times as hard, he had no chance. And then Lee, and then Guy motivates him again. And I feel like Guy was motivated by Lee, and then Lee was motivated by Guy. It was super wholesome.
Yeah, he was kind of like, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to achieve anything anyway.
And so here you have him against Gaara, right? Gaara has, for whatever reason, he's more than just naturally talented. The sand protects him. Like, no one has ever touched this guy because the sand does everything for him. So you have the ultimate natural talent where, presumably, looking at Gaara, who he is, and, like, he doesn't seem like the guy that really worked very hard on his craft. He just kind of is awesome, right? So he's the ideal version of natural talent versus the pinnacle of hard work. And in a fight like that, where Lee's like, "First gate of opening, open!" And he starts actually doing amazing things, and even Neji's freaking out. Neji's like, "Oh my god, he would, like, destroy me."
Yeah, honestly, he really would. Because I'd say Gaara's natural talent or whatever, like what he was born with, is so much more powerful than Neji. Like, Neji still had to master techniques,
Dude, Neji was shook when he saw that fight.
Dude,
like,
Naruto did this fight super well with the whole teeter-totter of, like, powers. It's like, obviously, Gaara completely overpowering Lee. Lee drops the weights. We all freak out. Lee overpowering Gaara to a certain extent. And then Gaara tricked him. Gaara back to overpowering Lee. And then Lee unlocks the gates back to overpowering Gaara. And then Gaara had the sand thing back to overpowering Lee. It was just shock factor after shock factor.
It was such a good
and everyone in the stands were freaking out as well, like, along with us, because they were just, like, overwhelmed by how Lee was actually putting up a fight and slapping this natural genius.
Yeah, and I thought that basically, I think Lee would have won if it wasn't for that gourd thing. Like, that saved Gaara, which is like...
Well, he had that sand armor.
Yeah, but I feel like it cracked already. Like, it was pretty much done for.
Well,
to be fair, Gaara seemed pretty fine afterwards.
Yeah,
like, Gaara did seem pretty fine. But the point is, like, in that fight, Gaara was also spooked. It wasn't just Lee that was scared.
Yeah, Gaara was like, is this guy even human?
Yeah, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. And especially the fact that, like, he actually has the affection of other people. Like, that pissed him off more than anything.
Yeah, I now understand how, why people say, oh, maybe Rock Lee should have been the protagonist of Naruto, because
yeah, exactly.
He really doesn't have that natural talent, and he just is a hard worker, and that is something that anyone can be if they put their mind to it. So it's very inspirational.
And that's what makes the 8 gates so cool. Because the 8 gates is a cheat code. He managed to somehow find a way to bypass the normal power system of the world, being ninjutsu. And through the 8 gates, through destroying his body, through following his dreams and never stopping to work hard, he does something so inconceivably amazing. So, like, when he plays ping pong with Gaara, like, Gaara can't keep up with him, and he's flying in the air, and Lee kicks him, and then appears where he's flying, and then slaps him, and then, like, do you know the scene I'm talking about? He's, like, ricocheting off the air, where you can't even see Lee. And eventually, when he wins, and he crushes Lee's arm and leg, and he's even though he won the fight, he was gonna kill Lee.
And it's such, like, a lazy way kind of to fight too, because Rock Lee had to do so much work, so much heavy lifting, and the dude just controls sand laying down and crushes his arm and leg. That to me was like,
what a devastating attack, though. Like, he literally could end people's life with it, and, like, honestly, like the guy said afterwards, Lee might never be able to be a ninja again because of like his arms being crushed. Like the
And yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, that was the big thing at the end of the fight that Lee did a great job, but in the end he couldn't win because Gaara had that whole gourd which was made out of sand, and that was kind of his ace in the hole because no one knew that he could turn that back into sand and have it like protect him. And then Gaara is just like he almost killed him. Like he was gonna kill him. He broke his arm and leg, and then he was only saved by Guy Sensei intervening, which immediately disqualifies Rock Lee, and Gaara wins. But just winning wasn't enough for Gaara. He wanted to literally kill Lee, and now Lee is in a situation where he was told, the doctor said that he will never be able to be a shinobi now, which is like his whole thing is he wants to prove that he can be a ninja, a splendid ninja, without using genjutsu and ninjutsu. So that
I will say he kind of achieved what he wanted through this fight.
Exactly.
Like everyone that was watching
I was gonna say
realizes
he was a
Yes
splendid
and no.
ninja.
Yes and no.
Guy said he was a splendid ninja, and I do say so myself. He is a splendid.
I'm just saying a lot
already.
of people have acknowledged the fact that he's a splendid ninja at this
Including
point,
Guy.
but that doesn't let him stop him. He literally has a crushed arm and leg, and he's still doing one-handed push-ups when he should be resting.
Yeah, what a crazy.
What a Chad.
But Nux,
Yeah, that
what do
is
you
Chad, for
define
sure.
as a splendid ninja if he didn't achieve it already?
Well, I mean, in his eye, he didn't achieve it.
Yeah, because he hasn't beaten like Naruto or Neji and
It's
Sasuke.
not just it's not just about beating Naruto and Neji. It's about living every day as if it's the best day. Doing his best every day and continuing to work hard. I think that the moment he doesn't have a dream anymore is the moment that he
because
fails.
he's obsessed with working hard, and if he can no longer do it, it's like, what else is he gonna do with his life?
Mhm.
What, he's going to become an accountant, Leaf Village accountant Lee?
Yeah, my vote is for philosopher or writer, but yeah.
Sure. But so in that fight, like as it ended, there were a few things that I really liked. One, Guy blocking that sand attack easily, like it shows how powerful Guy is. And Guy actually doing that, he knew that his student was losing by him stepping in. He was living vicariously through Lee at that moment.
Yes.
And when the fight ends and Lee is standing unconscious but standing up.
Oh yeah,
like-
when he like gets up as in like he's ready to fight, and then you realize he's not even conscious. It was just like an instinct.
And he goes into that pose, like his famous pose, and he's not actually conscious with one arm and leg like drooped to the side because he can't move them and they're completely destroyed. So
That was nuts.
was amazing. Like chills. It was crazy. And the other thing that I really liked was on a philosophical level, as much as it saddens me that Lee lost the fight, I think him losing it's the reality of the situation.
Oh
It's the
yeah, for
reality
sure. Yeah, man.
which hits so hard.
Gaara
And
has
I
been
think-
built up for so long now with the Chunin exams as incredibly strong, and we learn later that he has this insane inner power, much like Naruto, right? So yeah, it makes total sense that Gaara would win, but Rock Lee absolutely, he went up against arguably by far the strongest person in the exam, and he gave him an incredible fight.
Do you guys think that he could have opened the last gate?
No.
But he would die, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah.
He didn't open. How many did he? I think he opened.
No,
5.
he definitely
5.
didn't. I'm just wondering, like, if you guys think he could have went there if he sacrificed his life.
I
No,
don't
he's
know.
only learned to do 5,
I
I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it said that anyone who opens all 8 gates will, for a very
Die.
brief moment, they'll be stronger than the Hokage, but then they will die.
Yeah, he seems like someone who'd be willing to die, though.
Yeah, but I
Like-
don't think he'd be willing to die like for a tuning exam.
No, exactly. That's what I'm
Hopefully
asking.
not.
Like,
Yeah.
right now, if he can even do it.
Yo, that would be crazy.
I'm pretty
I
sure
wonder if we ever-
Kakashi's asked how far he's able to go, and Lee said 5. I mean, Guy said 5.
Yeah, 5.
Mhm.
Well, and if Guy was able to teach him the gates, that means Lee must be pretty proficient at it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Guy must be proficient at it as
Yeah.
well.
That's a fair analysis.
Yeah, I look forward to learning more about this. It's very interesting. And I mean, the whole fight, I thought it was very much influenced by like Dragon Ball Z fights. I know, Nux, you think it's better than any fight in Dragon Ball Z, but I feel like just like the way the movements, the whole fighting where you can't even see them, and then, Rock Lee powering up when he's opening the gates. I thought it was, very much influenced by Dragon Ball Z.
The weights, definitely. That's like the main
Yeah,
takeaway I got.
I think a lot of like the big three shonen, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece all took inspiration from Dragon Ball Z and then surpassed it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to improve upon the formula.
Yeah. You take the original shonen tropes and then they added more depth to them.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, it's like Super Saiyan without the blonde hair. That's pretty much what the Gates felt like.
It's
Yeah.
what it felt like. But I mean, maybe I'm just a seasoned Dragon Ball hater that I'm saying this, but the emotional and philosophical impact of this fight was not like anything I've seen in Dragon Ball.
I mean, you're right. The emotional dimension was, I think, the star of the show here of this fight, and it really kind of you added so much more dimension to it
Naruto,
as opposed to just some fight in a tournament or something like that.
I don't know.
Naruto
There's
that
definitely some
emotional
Dragon Ball
stuff
Z
very
moments
well.
where like the world's on the line and like Gohan's fighting or Goku's fighting after Krillin dies that feel very emotional.
Yeah, the thing
No, I'm not
is they
saying there's
do,
no emotions in
Yeah.
Dragon
but I think where Naruto excels is the backstories and like giving characters who aren't the main characters time to shine. Because yeah, with those epic fights, like you're not necessarily getting as much backstory as you do with Lee's backstory. So there's more room for like those emotional backstories every time. With Dragon Ball, like, there isn't as much.
Bro, Frieza's emotional backstory was the best.
Yeah.
His dad was so mean to him, bro. He gave him
Yeah,
everything he ever
Cell.
wanted.
Cell's emotional backstory, he's like a larva or something.
Yo, you're just gonna diss my larva man like that? That's amazing.
No, he's the best. And then the Cell Juniors, bro. Each
Yeah,
one of
The
them
most
had a compelling
tragic.
had a
Yeah, the
compelling
most tragic
backstory.
of all.
Yeah, honestly, I think a character better than Cell, like backstory wise, Nomu. I think Nomu has just truly the saddest backstory. I relate to Nomu.
And then before you ask, Nux, yes, I think the Chunin exams are better than MHA
Yeah,
tournament. Okay?
Dude, all right. So tuning exams. Okay, but after the Lee fight, I don't even want to ask because like it's a disgrace to even put them in the same frame of reference. I think at this point you could say that. Well, you could admit the Lee fight's better than any fight in My Hero, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, the thing about My Hero is that in the latest arcs, it's had some really good group fights that include like a bunch of people fighting together, which I do like because it adds new complexity to the fights. But definitely in terms of overall, I'd say this fight was more impactful to me personally than
Anything?
the MHA fights.
And we still got the finals.
True.
Yeah, so what happened was we learned that after this round of the exams, there's going to be a month off for everyone to recuperate and train. And then
Training arc! Let's go!
Yeah, so we have a training arc and then going into another mini tournament arc where it's like a bracket style tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing is that all of them could pass or all of them could fail. It's all about individual performance and who is going to show themselves as being good enough to become Chunin, right?
Yes,
Who
and
is
it's not
the-
all about power. It's also
Yeah,
about
it's not just like
leadership.
one
and-
person wins the tournament and they become. It's anyone can or none of them can.
This is an examination. The tournament's an examination, and they're evaluating their performance. And technically, you could like lose in the finals, but still become a tuning, and win in the finals and maybe not become a tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which would feel like sucky, but yeah, it can happen.
Well, if Gaara ends up like killing everybody, then they're probably like, "Yeah, you're not the best Chunin."
You're no longer allowed to be a ninja.
I mean, to be fair, that's what ninja should be, right? Like killing.
Yeah, but
people.
depends because you also have to work as a team when you're a ninja. And if Gaara just kills everybody and doesn't follow
Yeah, but what if-
instructions and doesn't
Okay,
work
but
as
if
a
you think
team-
about it, Gaara might not need a team. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if they are able to realize that he's mentally insane and uncontrollable and psychotic, it's like,
which, by the way, his own father realized. So we got his backstory, and we also met Jiraiya. We'll talk about Jiraiya too, but let's talk about Gaara's backstory first because we were on this topic. So we learned that when he was born or about to be born, he had like the spirit of one of the elders of his village imprinted upon him. So he has like an inner spirit living within him, kind of like the nine-tailed fox within Naruto, but not the same. And this kind of drove him to be incredibly strong, but also incredibly dangerous. So they wanted to use him as a weapon to, for the Sand Village to become stronger. But by the age of 6, he got so out of control and dangerous that they kept trying to kill him, but he was too strong, so they couldn't kill him. But basically, he became like this monster who is always forced to fight for his life because they keep trying to assassinate him, including his own father. So he doesn't care about anyone. He has no compassion for anyone. He just wants to kill all of his enemies, and that's the purpose of his life. So he's just like a ruthless killer, overpowered psycho, overall good villain character.
Yeah. I found it super interesting
what did
how
you
he
think of his
needed a
father?
reason to live, kind of thing.
Who was his father, Animek?
He was like the Hokage of that village, right?
Right,
so
right.
The main guy,
So
right?
if you think about how terrifying Gaara is, think about it this way. The Hokage, well, the Kazekage of the Sand Village can't get rid of him. The Kazekage.
Yeah,
Like, that's
what
scary as hell.
6-year-old him, like a 6-year-old him. Yeah,
So
that's-
clearly, he is already far beyond tuning level.
yes, and this demon within him, spirit or whatever, clearly has a mind of its own because it defends him like kind of without even Gaara having to do anything. So that's probably how he managed to survive when he was so young, because that spirit was kind of looking out for him and using the sand to his advantage.
Yeah.
So the spirit's like his best buddy.
Well, yes and no. If he didn't have the spirit, he would have a normal childhood.
Which, I mean, yeah, that's the other thing. Like, can you blame that he's so fucked up with the situation he's
Yeah,
in?
so that's
no,
the interesting
that's why
thing.
he's such a good character.
That's the
Like,
interesting
I
thing because Naruto even mentions that. He's like, in some ways, we are the same, me and Gaara, because both of them were born with like this thing inside of them that is considered dangerous. And because of that, they're outcasts. People are afraid of them. People want to just get rid of them. Because there are people who wanted to just Naruto to just get killed off because he's too dangerous. But the difference is that Naruto found people who actually cared about him, like Iruka Sensei.
Right. I was going to say, surprisingly enough, the big difference between Naruto and Gaara is that Gaara didn't have an Iruka sensei.
Iruka Sensei hype.
Yeah, exactly. So Iruka Sensei was the one who actually cared about Naruto and taught him that, no, you can be something, you can find friends and all that type of stuff, whereas Gaara would never found someone like that, so he became far more cynical and ruthless and dangerous than Naruto.
Which is like brother and sister should like step in there. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, but if they fear him, right?
Yeah, if everyone thinks that he's like this dangerous monster.
And clearly, he had no control over his whatever was inside of him, his abilities and all that. It's like I can understand why you would be scared, right? Compared to Naruto, which it seems to have been, it seems to be a little bit different. Like has it sealed within him. It kind of helps him in a similar way sometimes when he's about to die, but not to the same extent.
Yeah, Naruto did not seem as much of a beast when he was younger.
Yeah, because Naruto's kind of like the class clown more than anything.
Yeah,
not like this like quiet, crazy dude.
While Gaara is killing assassins at age 6 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So it is different, but there's similarities that Naruto could relate to for sure.
Yep. Pretty much. It's pretty crazy.
Anyway, now let's talk about the Choji.
I want to
fight,
save
though.
more like Gaara discussion for later because we're not done with him yet. So
Yeah, so we had some other stuff happening. Orochimaru
yeah,
says that the Leaf Village has become kind of like too calm and peaceful and complacent, while rival nations are expanding and arming themselves. So he's basically implying that a war is coming, and he seems to be pulling the strings to some extent here. So again, we're getting that kind of international relations politics going on, where we know that the Leaf Village seems to be like the most powerful village, and it has some of the most powerful warriors.
Why do we know that?
Well, it's just because it seems to be the center of the action. Like everyone is going there, and
Well,
most
the
of
way it works with the tuning exams is it's on a rotation. Which village hosts the tuning exams which year?
Yeah, but I'm seeing that most of the people who are going further through the exams are Leaf Village people, right?
Right. Everyone was freaking out that so many Leaf Ninja teams actually succeeded. It's like it's an especially good crop of Leaf Ninja. That doesn't necessarily mean that the Leaf Nation.
Like realistically, these people that are Genin are insignificant to the country's power or the village's power, right?
Except for Gaara.
except for maybe Gaara at this point, right? But yeah.
So do we know is there like a hierarchy of who's stronger, or are they all
Well,
roughly
well,
equal in strength?
There is no hierarchy. There are 5 great nations. I mean, once you start to learn more about the different players, you can make educated guesses. But for now, you can't really tell.
Like,
Yeah, because-
obviously Gaara, but look at the way Guy just like tosses sand away. Like obviously a Joan, like
Right.
okay, but Gaara's a bad example because clearly a Kazekage couldn't kill him. But I'm just saying like
Right.
the Jonion's what really matters here.
Yeah.
because
And I
we
mean,
had the
when you look at some Jonins in the Leaf Village, I mean, we're not going to count on Ebisu Sensei to save the day, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Konohamaru's glasses dude Sensei, the strongest ninja of all time, you know what I'm talking about?
How sad is it going from Kakashi to him?
Dude, biggest letdown of all time.
Yeah, I wonder how strong he really is.
Not strong enough to survive harem jutsu in episode 2.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily.
I don't think Jiraiya would either, man.
Yeah,
You make a good argument.
Jiraiya would lose from loss of blood.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into Jiraiya, we had the whole thing with Kabuto trying to get to Sasuke, because Orochimaru wants the two of them separated, Sasuke and Naruto separated. So he kills a bunch of like elite ninja guards.
Which is
completely reveals
crazy, because
himself.
this dude's
Yeah.
like a genin.
Yeah, he's like, I can't pass the Chunin exam for like 5 years in a row, and in reality, he like kills these elite guys. But then Kakashi was there, so he's like, oh shit, what's going on? And then, oh yeah, that was a crazy scene, man. That was a crazy scene.
The crazy thing is they're kind of equated, like
Yeah,
Kabuto and Kakashi.
Because what happens is, they fight for a bit, and Kakashi, I feel like, was gonna win, but then Kabuto manages to get away because he uses this like necromancy technique, and it turns out that Kakashi thought that Kabuto was this guy, but it was actually the corpse of one of the ninjas. Like that was pretty messed up, man.
Yeah, it was interesting how he had the like skill and speed to like totally change a dude's face to look like his own.
Yeah, like I'm guessing he changed it before Kakashi arrived. But the crazy thing is, yeah, like Nak said, this guy is supposed to be just like this genin who keeps failing the Chunin exams, but in reality, he's this incredibly powerful spy who is, way stronger than I thought when I first saw him.
The cat's out of the bag though. Like now, pretty much, they know.
Yeah, he had to
its true
expose
nature.
himself. Yeah, he exposed himself pretty much. And we should also talk about that in the next round of the exam. The first fights are gonna include Naruto versus Neji and Sasuke versus Gaara, right?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
Naruto Neji.
Yo, it's crazy. But also, we saw Dosu destroy Choji, right? With, like one touch, pretty much.
Yes.
Right?
Very
And then
easily. Yeah.
between the second and third round, Dosu fights a certain Sandy boy.
Oh yeah. Gaara. Do you
Animac?
remember that, Animac? When he finds him like I think it's nighttime or something.
Oh yeah. So in the manga, it wasn't a fight. You just see this the sound guy is like, Gaara, I'm gonna get you and prove myself to Lord Orochimaru, and then like the next panel, he's just like flattened.
Right, Gaara destroys him like instantly.
Yeah.
Like it goes to show how powerful Lee was, because this guy fought Lee like on an even level-ish during the Forest of Death, right? But that was Lee with his training weights, without opening his gate,
Yeah.
Yeah, being distracted, a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, like we've
and
definitely
also-
we've been told that, or it's been hinted heavily that Gaara is like way stronger than a regular Genin.
Yeah.
Oh
And
god,
also,
yes.
the Jonin of Gaara's team, you know who I'm talking about? The guy with like the freaking cloth covering half his face?
Yeah, so he was meeting with Kabuto, right? Like he's in on the whole Orochimaru.
Right, so
plan.
somehow the Sand Village and Orochimaru have something going on. And also, he kills the Leaf Jonin, the Proctor guy, no?
The Proctor,
Yes.
the Proctor overhears the meeting between Kabuto and the Sand
Sand
Jonin. So he ends up just like killing the Proctor, and they find his like dead, mutilated body later on.
Which is
I thought that was
crazy, 'cause that dude was
very
good.
dark. That was very dark, and it definitely shows that the Sand Village is trying to make some moves right now.
And I thought it
have
was
some
very
plan.
cool. I thought it was very cool how they had air blades. Like he's like, yeah, it's easy to stop like a real blade, but there's no way to stop air blades. And we just hear that and then see his body. Like, how do
Yeah.
you stop fucking air blades?
Right, he's from the land of wind, right? So he uses
Yeah,
like
makes
mostly
sense.
wind style jutsu.
But isn't he from the land of sand?
No, the Sand Village is the village of the land
Hidden
of wind.
leaf.
Like the
Oh.
I
Leaf
mean,
Village is in
hidden
the
leaf.
land of fire.
Hidden
Hidden Leaf
sand.
is land of fire. Hidden Sand is the land of wind.
Why is it so confusing? Just use one, Gray. Use one.
Like you just need one like picture to like explain it.
Like
But,
Hidden
yeah.
Mist is in the land of water. Hidden Cloud is in the land of lightning. And what's the other one? Shoot.
Hidden Sound.
No, that's not one of the 5. Which one am I missing? Damn it.
Which ones did we say?
Oh, yeah.
Earth.
I'm missing Earth.
right.
Yeah. I think it's Hidden Boulder or something. The land of Earth. No,
Hidden in the
sounds
stone or something like that.
Sounds
Hidden
right.
rock.
Anyway, whatever it is, point is, now I think we've covered pretty much everything aside from Jiraiya!
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Pervy
Ebisu
sage.
Sensei, bro. Ebisu Sensei.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
Ebisu Sensei is part of the Jiraiya moment.
It's true.
And,
It's
and
true.
what happens is Kakashi's like, okay, so Naruto, you have the most stamina out of anyone because of your fox thing, the nine-tailed fox. But you're also very bad at
Chakra
effectively
control.
using your stamina and chakra, so you waste a lot. So you need to learn how to control your stamina and chakra better. So he gets Ebisu Sensei to train him how to walk on water, which is an exercise that will help him do that. But that just ends up being kind of like a prelude to meeting Jiraiya, because we see Jiraiya, he's just like spying on like a woman's bath. And Ebisu tries to stop him. He's like, how dare you do this? I'm going to ensure that proper behavior is ensured. And he just like summons this like giant toad and absolutely wrecks him.
In 1
Yeah.
second. And then
Yeah, and
Naruto is so happy when that happens, and he's like, well, you defeated my sensei, so now it's your like obligation to train me. And he's like, I don't want to train you. And he's like, no, you have to. You wiped out my sensei. You have to teach me. Like being an annoying
But in
little
reality,
bastard.
Naruto was like, what, this dude that I crushed with the harem jutsu is going to try to train
Yeah, he
me?
was-
Like, he wasn't
he was so
excited about
happy.
that.
Yeah, it was
It was
Although,
so funny.
to be
I felt
fair-
like Naruto in this arc because Ebisu Sensei was explaining like chakra control and like the actual like science behind it and everything, and I'm just like, bro, just fucking tell him to do it. I usually slid
Exactly.
through those slides. I'm like, I don't have patience for this. And then Naruto
I was
doesn't have
like,
patience
great,
for it,
I
and I'm like,
agree.
wow, that felt
To be
identical.
fair, though, even the Hokage said that he would have been defeated by the harem jutsu.
Dude, Naruto's Hokage level at that age. God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I love the fact though that it was Ibisu, which is like at the beginning, oh that sucks, but then when he gets to Jiraiya, I'm like, that's even better than Kakashi, bro.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Jiraiya turns out to be the blatant perv, as Naruto calls him. And it turns out that he
The
is the
pervy
author
sage,
of,
bro. The pervy
Pervy
sage.
he is the author of Make Out Paradise, those novels that Kakashi reads.
Yeah.
Those
Which is, that's
masterpieces.
amazing also. That's hilarious.
First of all, yes, but also he is one of the 3 legendary warriors of the Leaf Village, right? Alongside
Yup.
Orochimaru. So
He has the
not
best
only is he
resume.
not only is he the author of Make Out Paradise, he's also one of the strongest ever Leaf Village ninjas.
Dude, and you know, we're always talking about how Orochimaru is so terrifying. Naruto just happens upon this dude. Like,
Doing research.
Well, it was planned, right? He was invited specifically for this.
Was
No.
it?
he just
No,
showed
like,
up.
no, he was invited because by someone, if I recall correctly, because someone told him Orochimaru was there, so he came because Orochimaru was there.
Well, actually, he replied that like, no, I'm not that like, I don't want to get involved. I'm the kind of guy who kind of doesn't want to.
Yeah, but I
have a
thought
hassle.
that was full of BS. I thought
But he might have
definitely came
heard
over.
something and then showed up. But yeah, he says no.
I believe him.
Yeah, so then Jiraiya does agree to teach Naruto.
So Jiraiya is
And-
my top 3 characters in Naruto.
Agreed.
And yeah, so Jiraiya realizes that Naruto has 2 types of chakra. He has his own chakra, and he has the 9-tailed beast chakra. So he wants to force Naruto to summon, to learn to use the fox's chakra. So he makes
Right.
Naruto sign a summoning contract to be able to summon a bunch of toads, I guess.
Let's go!
Okay,
And
but
at first, Naruto-
before he does that, they do the whole water thing that Ebisu was trying to teach him. And what Jiraiya does is he unlocks whatever Orochimaru, like he did like a 5-pronged seal Orochimaru
Right.
to
Orochimaru
Naruto's.
put a 5-pronged seal on an 8 tetragram seal or something. And since it's an even number and an odd number, it just makes his chakra all wonky.
Mhm.
So he undid the 5-pronged seal to like,
And then out of
Wait,
nowhere,
what?
he's able to walk on water. Easy.
yeah, pretty much.
All right,
Pretty
now
good.
to the transformation thing. Go ahead, Animac.
Yeah, sorry.
the summoning jutsu, yeah.
So he's teaching him how to summon these toads, and at first, Naruto's only summoning these little tadpoles, and Jiraiya's like, bro, this guy has no talent. This guy has no talent whatsoever. But Naruto keeps on trying, and eventually he is able to access the chakra of the nine-tailed beast. And the way it does it is Jiraiya is just like, listen, I need to take desperate measures. So he just like throws him off a cliff, and he's like, hey, if you want to survive, ask the nine-tailed fox to help you. So the nine-tailed fox ends up helping him, and he summons like the greatest toad, like the chief toad.
Gamabunta, the chief toad.
And like the toad is like, who are you? Like, why are you in my head? And all this type of stuff. And like, where's that bastard Jiraiya? And Jiraiya just like leaves. He's like, oh shit, I don't want to be around here. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
And no one
Jiraiya,
else
like,
rode. Yeah, I was just gonna say no one else rode on his head since the 4th Hokage, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, he
isn't
just assumed that the only one that could have summoned him was Jiraiya, because no one else has since the 4th Hokage.
Yes, correct. Yeah. But so, and what happens after that is Naruto kind of like passes out from all the chakra he just used, and then the toad just takes him to the hospital. But
Dude, do I remember more happening in the anime?
Yes.
if there's a 4th Hokage, then why is the current Hokage the 3rd Hokage?
Because he retired for the 4th Hokage to show up. And after he retired, he took his position back when the 4th Hokage died.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when he was killed by the nine-tailed beast, right?
Yeah.
Because you get
Yeah, so
weaker
that's
as
what I
when
thought.
you get
I thought
older.
you said the
Yeah,
4th
that's what I
Hokage
thought.
retired. I'm like, bro, did you just retire to go golfing or something? Like,
Yeah, he retired.
the 3rd Hokage retired, and then the 4th Hokage died, so the 3rd Hokage was forced to take his position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we told how he died? I think so, right?
I think
Well, he
we
was
were
killed
told
by the
that-
nine-tailed beast.
We were told that in
Yeah.
the first episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, so in the anime, they really extended that whole
Yeah, they
Summoning.
extended it a lot.
Yeah, so what ended
They-
up happening, if I remember, like, what was the frog's name? The big frog?
Gamabunta, the chief
Gamabunta.
toad.
Gababunta, the chief toad, said, okay, Naruto, if you want to be able to summon me, you got to be able to stay on my back for, like, the rest of the day or something. And then
Yup.
they keep on jumping around like crazy, and then Naruto passes out once he wins.
No, Naruto
Yeah,
passes out
that
a
was
second
taken out.
before. Like, he was about to lose. And Gamabunta catches him and puts him
Oh.
back on his back because he, like, respects
He
him.
respected him. That's really cool. That's wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's called
Yeah.
the manga is like pacing is really fast, and I do
Yeah.
tend to prefer it because there's a lot of filler in Naruto and stuff. But there's certain moments that like I wish that like the manga did what what the anime did. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. When Animac wasn't, like, mentioning some scenes, like, the way he ran out of chakra in the anime was Jiraiya basically gave him an exercise to make as many shadow clones as he could. And he just made so many shadow clones and he wasn't running out of chakra. So he had the shadow clones fight each other. And so all the shadow clones were, like, using jutsus to fight each other. So
Dude,
eventually he ran
that's
out
so
of
much
chakra.
different. Like,
Yeah, I
literally,
think in the manga he was forced to summon toads over and over again until he ran out.
No,
of
he was
chakra.
forced
Well,
to
he was
stand on the water too. He was forced
Exactly.
to stand on the water
Oh,
until he
okay,
fell
okay.
in.
yeah.
Right, no,
Yeah.
he did the toad thing also, but the toad, like, first he was just he's so excited, he's about to summon the toad, and Jiraiya's like, oh my god, my protege, he's about to do it, it's legendary, and he summons like this tadpole, like this tiny little.
And then it was so
tadpole.
funny because like after a bunch of tadpoles, he finally had one, like one that was slightly different. And Jiraiya's like, "Oh my god, another tadpole!" And Naruto's like, "No, look, it
No,
has legs."
this one has legs. And Jiraiya's
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
It had back legs. Yeah.
yeah. No, I love Naruto, especially early Naruto. It's such a special time.
Yeah,
But,
and
and
I
also
think
in the anime, when Jiraiya was going to teach him, Jiraiya didn't accept him right away. He said to Naruto, "You have to bring me someone with big melons." And he's like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about." And Jiraiya's like, "No, you probably don't. You're just a kid." He's like, "Oh, I know big melons." And Jiraiya's like, "Oh, maybe this kid's like whatever." And he brings him like big watermelons. And Jiraiya's like, "No, you made me wait around all day for this. Like, what's wrong with you?" And he's like, "You said big melons." And he's
so
like, "Yeah,
in
but
the
I-"
manga, in the manga, Naruto uses sexy jutsu.
Right, so
And-
then he uses sexy jutsu, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, in the manga he uses sexy jutsu, and then Jiraiya's like, "Okay, I'll train you if you stay in that form the whole time." And he's like, "What?"
yeah,
Yeah, that was straight up from Dragon Ball, where Master Roshi asks for them to bring back hot girls.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, another thing that they did in the anime, I don't think it was mentioned that he was a Sannin yet. That he was one
Not
of the
right
three.
away. It's revealed later on.
It was revealed after the Chunin exams arc, and Naruto didn't know about it, like, ever until.
I think it was
for,
kind
like,
of
a long
implied
time.
though, because Ebisu says to Jiraiya that we need you, like you're like the only one strong enough to take on Orochimaru, like we need you here, type of thing.
In the anime, Ebisu didn't recognize him.
Really?
Yeah, in the anime, he was like, "This geezer," and he just slaps him, and they don't actually exchange words at all. Ebisu's just like completely knocked out.
That's
and
interesting.
That's it.
Well, I thought in the manga they talked, but on a separate occasion.
They
Not-
did
not
in
when
the
he-
manga,
Yeah,
not
they
in the
explained
anime.
it in the
Right?
manga.
No, that's possible. I just meant right away when they met, it didn't work.
Yeah, he definitely knocks him out right away, like when he sees him. But bro, the guy was just doing research. He's the
Exactly.
research sage.
He's the Toad Mountain Sage. All right, Pervy Sage. No, it's Toad Mountain Sage.
He's doing it for art, and he admits to being a pervert, which is rare. You usually have closet perverts, but he's straight up like, bro, I'm a pervert.
And that's pretty respectable, I'd say.
Well, yeah, we had the whole thing with Rock Lee. You have to have confidence in yourself, and Jiraiya has that.
Yeah, be who you are. Be yourself.
The Chad pervert. I like it. I like it, Chad. Thank you. Okay, so in terms of the fourth Hokage, there was one moment that made me think that this guy might be Naruto's dad.
Ooh.
What was that moment?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we see his face, and he kind of looks like Naruto. But second of all, Jiraiya.
We see whose face?
We
Jiraiya's face?
see the fourths in a picture, in like a portrait.
And the other thing is Jiraiya, before he puts Naruto in that like dangerous position, he's like, "Forgive me for this, fourth Hokage." So it's almost like, you know.
Very epic.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did throw him off a fucking cliff.
Well, if
so-
Naruto was the son of the fourth Hokage, then like he wouldn't be treated like shit. You'd think, right?
Well, you would think, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he would get.
Good
he
thing it's
should
just a
get
theory there, Mac. Good thing it's just a
Yeah,
theory.
just a theory. Just a
No, but the
theory.
problem is that
Because in
no
reality,
kid should be
he's his
treated
brother.
no kid should be treated like that anyway. But they were just all scared of him.
Yeah, and the third Hokage didn't do a great job of making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and the fourth Hokage is like a national hero, right? So you would think, because he's like this legendary hero who saved everyone from the Nine-Tailed Beast. So you would think that out of respect for him, they would respect his son. But I don't know.
But hey, that's just a theory.
That's just a theory. Naruto theory. Thanks for
Yeah, and
watching.
then the rest of my notes were about the whole Gaara thing, his backstory, and how he has this monster inside of him, and in that sense, he is also a dangerous abomination that people fear and want to destroy, just like Naruto. But Gaara didn't have people who actually believed in him, and that's what made the difference.
Another interesting thing was the Hokage straight up saying like he doesn't think he could take on Orochimaru right now.
Yeah.
That was another interesting point, and they wish that the fourth was still alive so that he could, take him on.
Right. It seemed like from the way they were discussing, it's like the fourth Hokage would destroy Orochimaru.
Yeah, the way they said it, they're like, "Oh, if he was only alive, we wouldn't have a problem," kind of thing.
Yeah, which just is messed up when you think about how strong the Nine-Tailed Beast must be then.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's really interesting. I like this Jiraiya guy because
'Cause
not
he's
only is he this funny comedy perv guy,
He's wise.
but he's also extremely strong. Like he's one of the strongest. So
I mean,
I
I
like
said
that.
wise.
Dude, wisdom and perversion go together so much in
Yeah,
anime.
finally the perverts are getting some respect. Damn it! Like not like my
Pervert
boy
gang,
Mineta.
rise up. Where you
Poor
at, pervert?
Mineta just gets disrespected all the time.
I mean, some perverts deserve it.
Even Kakashi doesn't act like a pervert, but he loves those books, right?
Kakashi's
it's
a
like-
massive pervert. What are
It's
you
like
talking
everyone's a pervert.
No, but Kakashi, like, he understands that hentai is okay, but you don't like go like spying on real women. He's a hentai supremacist.
Right. That. What you said.
So where did we end off? I think the last chapter was like Guy breaking up the fight between Shikamaru and
yeah.
Naruto and.
Well, yeah. So what
Gaara.
happened was, the hospital scene where
Yeah.
Gaara tries to kill Rock Lee in the hospital, and then Naruto
Right.
and was it Neji who intervened?
No,
Was
it
it
was
Shikamaru?
Guy.
Yeah, it was.
Wait,
it was Shikamaru.
Shikamaru and Naruto,
and
were
Naruto.
together.
Who's the
And
shadow
then-
guy? Is that Shikamaru?
That's
Yeah,
Shikamaru.
Shikamaru.
Okay, yeah. So him and Naruto intervene to stop Gaara from killing Rock Lee, and then Gaara's like, "I'll just kill you guys because I want to kill everyone." And then that's kind of like the last part that we saw.
And next week, what are we covering, Briggs?
Up until chapter 115, if that's okay, Animac. I know it's a little bit more than usual, but it would be nice to finish off the arc. That way we could
So
do
it's
one.
97 to 115, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. If it's finishing off the arc, I understand.
Because then we
Yeah,
finish
and then-
off the
and then
arc,
maybe,
and
the week after that, we could do One Piece Virgin.
exactly, then we do One Piece Virgin with one more chapter.
Bro,
Perfect.
One Piece right now. What the fuck?
Dude, that
Yo!
last chapter was insane. Holy crap.
Dude, it was honestly with me, you, and 5UP in the call, and Noble, who's not reading the anime, who's not reading the manga, and we all went to look at the spoiler together, and we're all freaking out, and Noble's just so left
Joe's
out.
like, "What's going on, guys?" I'm like, "What? No way! How, bro? How?"
Yo,
Oh, it was great.
Briggs, did you read the latest chapter of One Piece?
I did.
Good. Thoughts?
It was crazy.
Okay, well,
I'm
don't-
really looking
don't-
forward to
That's
seeing
all I
how
wanted to
Oda is able to explain this.
I have faith in the man.
Yeah, I know. You better not be a troll. You better not be like baiting us.
I think
Anyway,
it could be a
we'll
troll.
see.
I think it could very well be a troll.
I hope not, because that's gonna be very.
I doubt it'll. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with Nux. I think it won't be a troll because that would just be kind of like a cop out if it was a troll. It's like, why do that?
Look, we'll see what happens.
All right, cool.
Um,
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us for another Naruto Virgin. We're back next week, reading up to chapter 115. And yeah, so far this series has been great, man. It's been great.
It has, and the finals won't disappoint either. Even though Nux really built up the Rock Lee versus Gaara
Oh,
fight.
I love the finals too. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
exactly. There are
I just
crazy
think
good
Rock
fights.
Lee versus Gaara is, it's something else.
From a philosophical standpoint. Mwah, very nice.
For sure. Great. Thank you guys, and see you again next week. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.
Bang.
Bang.
Bang.